introduce us to our session. So welcome. This is Team Essentials presentation on ditch and switching chemicals in your home and making sure that you live a chemical-free life. And so we're really excited to have this opportunity to talk to you about how I know for the four of us, being able to remove chemicals from our home has been one of the most important reasons why Young Living is part of our lives. So I wanted to take a minute and share my screen with you and just begin to, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, great. So
Yes.
I wanted to just go over the chemicals that you're going to find in so many cleaning products in your home. And this is just a short list, you know, so you want to avoid sulfates because they inflame your skin, your eyes, lungs, and your internal organs. Phosphates because they link to physical health issues and poison marine life. Formaldehyde, which just weakens the overall immune system. And it really has always been linked to cancer, but I didn't want to put that down in writing. And dioxane, which is just a known carcinogen, and it just irritates the skin, the eyes, and the lungs. And then butane, which causes respiratory irritation. They're on dryer sheets. So is Quats, which is linked to asthma. And so is acetone, linked to headaches and dizziness. Now that's just the dryer sheets, let alone everything else that we use in the house that can so easily just make life hard for our physical bodies and literally our spirits and our emotions, because everything gets impacted by these chemicals. And so the home is where we'd like to start looking at how do you become chemical free, because that so totally is my story. I found like 30 years ago, I had to go chemical free. And it was Young Living, that was the only place I could really find the shampoos and the creams for my skin. And then to be able to go into the home with their products just made it so much easier. And the fact that it was all mail order, because at the time I had to do it, there weren't many choices locally. So with that, we're going to have this be informal. If you have any questions, please ask us. And I just want to make sure that you're okay if we place this video on Facebook, on the Young at Heart page. I don't want to surprise you by doing that after we get you involved in it. So it'd be fine if you'd prefer not to do that, but we would like to do it if we could. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Brittany, who's going to share her screen and start sharing the different recipes that she's come up with that are important to her in her life. So Brittany, it's all yours.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, let's see. This one. There
Perfect.
we are. Can you see it?
Yes,
Yep.
perfect.
All right. So
Yes.
my first slide is about lemon essential oil and uses for lemon essential oil in the house. And it's a little wordy, but it's really quick. So lemon essential oil is really great for a lot of different things in the household. And one of the things is to get gum out of your children's hair or your hair if you happen to get some gum in it. You can also use it on any kind of like markings that you might get, like if someone uses crayon on the wall or marker, any kind of ink can be usually removed with lemon oil, and you can use it straight. Normally, I'd be careful on wood surfaces that aren't treated with paints or things like that, because they could definitely change the look of raw wood. But otherwise, lemon oil is pretty safe on most things. So one of the uses of lemon oil that I use it for regularly is to battle greasy things in the kitchen. I add it to My dish soap, I add it straight to a pan if I need to. I will put it here. The third part of this slide, there's a recipe for battling greasy stovetops, counters, and dishes, where you mix lemon and vinegar. So it's 20 drops of lemon with 1 cup of white vinegar to 16-ounce spray bottle, and you fill it with water, and then you spray the surfaces and wipe clean with a damp cloth. You can also put this in your laundry. It recommends the rinse cycle, putting 5 to 8 drops in, which then is gonna help make your clothes smell lemony fresh. The Thieves Household Cleaner, the main ingredient in the Thieves Household Cleaner is lemon. And that can just be used anywhere in your house, pretty much. Hard water buildup, which is a real problem for me. Lemon essential oil right in the water, right in the sink, right where the buildup is, will just get that off with very little scrubbing. I use it directly. Sometimes I use it with the baking soda. A lot of times when I use the baking soda and the water and the lemon essential oil together, I'm using it to scrub like the bathtub or a stovetop, but it also will work really great on any kind of hard water buildup. So stainless steel appliances, we all know that for fingerprints and greasy stains on stainless steel, a lot of people buy like a separate cleaner to wipe on them. Well, lemon essential oil directly on them will actually wipe them completely clean and polish them, which is amazing. So if you sit on sap, if you get sap on your clothes anywhere or in your hair or any of that stuff, it will take all that sticky stuff right out. It's pretty amazing in that way. If there's any questions, please pop in anytime to ask me any questions. But I'm going to move on to my next slide. So that's lemon. Oops. Here we are. So I am presenting a jewelry cleaner that I use regularly for my engagement ring. I don't know if you guys can see me on the screen, but I also have a jar of it just as an example. It's a very small amount that you make, and it works pretty amazing. You just need a glass jar, a cap full of the Thieves Household Cleaner, a teaspoon of baking soda, and 5 drops of lemon essential oil. You mix it all together in the jar and you put your jewelry into it. I usually do my ring in it, so I don't need a large amount. I swirl it. I don't shake it, I swirl it. And I leave it in there for all different amounts of time. It says 10 minutes, but I've left it in there as long as 20 minutes while I've been in the shower or something like that. I don't leave it in for any longer than that though. And then I just take like a little brush and I gently clean it with the brush and then rinse it. And it sparkles like new. It's pretty amazing stuff. Any questions about the jewelry cleaner? No questions. All right.
Britt,
Yes, Nancy.
does it work better on silver or gold? Which one, does it make any difference?
I don't
Clean
think
equally well.
I think it cleans equally well. My ring is platinum, so I'm not worried at all about putting my ring in there. It really makes it sparkle and shine. So I would really trust it with any of my jewelry, whatever it might be.
I use it on my Pandora bracelet.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and that's
Wow.
mostly silver. Well, I don't know if it's silver, but
Yeah.
a little too pricey to put in anything I don't trust.
Yeah, so I would trust really any of my, I think I would trust it with any of my jewelry other than something that's strung with string or thread of any kind, or is on maybe that stretchy plastic. I wouldn't put things like that in it. it's really meant for some type of metal jewelry, not like, you know, strung beads or things like that. I wouldn't put those types of things
Right.
in there. But I do regularly clean my engagement ring with it, and it works. It's amazing. It works wonders. All right, so I'm going to move on to
Okay.
my third and final slide, and then we'll move to the next presentation. And see, my next slide is about hand sanitizer. So when the pandemic first started, there was a real shortage where I live with hand sanitizer. And so I started making it, and I made it based on this recipe. And you take a 3-ounce glass bottle, and you take 3 tablespoons of aloe vera gel. You want 3 tablespoons of alcohol or witch hazel. The CDC recommends that you use at least 14% alcohol in your hand sanitizer to kill whatever it's supposed to be killing. And so I use a witch hazel that I don't normally use on my face or on my skin. I use that in my hand sanitizer because I like a witch hazel that doesn't have alcohol in it for my skin needs. But when it comes to hand sanitizer, I use a witch hazel that has 14% alcohol in it. Or I would use a 14% or more alcohol, just regular alcohol. Also, you could use a drinking alcohol, such as like an ethyl alcohol that you might use to make tinctures or things like that. That has a really high concentration of alcohol. And so that would work as well. And then you can also use any types of essential oils that you want to use in this recipe. This is just the recommendation of this recipe because I was kind of on a lemon kick. So 15 drops lemon, 15 drops lavender, and 15 of tea tree. You combined it all together and put it in the glass bottle. I like using a spray top just for convenience. Another suggestion would be Thieves essential oil would work really well in this as well. And that's really it. Does anyone have any questions? All right, so we will move on to our next presenter.
Hi everyone, I'm Kanchana and I'm gonna start with the screen share.
Wow.
So we all know, bleach is the most commonly used household item in most homes, but bleach can be very dangerous, especially the Clorox and the ones with chlorine. It can be irritating and corrosive to the skin, lungs, eyes, and it can burn human tissue internally and externally. And on top of this, it may cause extreme skin rash, abdominal discomfort, headaches, nausea, and vomiting. And when it's mixed with other chemicals, it can leach ammonia and chlorine even after it has stopped reacting. So it keeps those fumes get into our skin and can cause long-term damage. So here is a natural bleach alternative. It's made of 3 cups of water, and you can use hydrogen peroxide, the 3% hydrogen peroxide, and 10 drops of lemon oil and 2 capfuls of Thieves household cleaner. So you mix all these ingredients to a quart-sized container, and I use it, 1 cup during, laundry and for bleaching needs. So if you have heavier stains, you could add an extra half a cup of hydrogen peroxide. So, and the next one is mold and mildew cleaner. For this, I use distilled water. It's easier to use distilled water because it's flat. There is no, it's dead water, so you don't grow any mold in the cleaner itself. And you can, I use 1 cup vodka, but you could also use vinegar. But I'm not a big fan of vinegar smell after the cleaning is done, so I prefer vodka because it has a neutral. It brings out the smell of the essential oils. And tea tree oil is known for, disinfecting. These are all disinfecting oils. So it's a really powerful oil for disinfecting. And then 10 drops of eucalyptus and 10 drops of lavender. So you mix everything, put it in a spray bottle and spray directly on. I use it every day after shower on the glass door and everything. So it stays clean and there's no growth. The next one is garbage deodorizer. No one likes a stinky garbage. So do you know those felt pads, felt pads with the sticky side that you put underneath the furniture and stuff? So I just take that and you can add a combination of either lemon or purification. Purification is really good because it has a neutralizing effect on odors. So I even diffuse it in the kitchen. So that is a good combination. Or you could play around with any oils, but I love citrus and purification and clove for this purpose. So I add few oils on it and stick it inside the garbage can before you put the garbage cover, and it just keeps the smell away.
Okay,
So any questions?
sounds like a good idea.
Thank you. Now we move on to the next presenter.
Oh, there you go. Oops, I forgot to share my screen.
No, I can share it for you.
Oh,
I have
gotcha.
it on, I have yours on this.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay, I use a steam mop. I don't know how many people do. And it says in the directions not to add any detergents or anything, but I always use a capful of the Young Living Thieves household cleaner, because it really, really does a good job of getting everything off the floor. I mean, the steam mop alone would do it, but with the Thieves household cleaner, I feel like I'm doing a good disinfecting, and it really smells nice in the kitchen when you're done mopping. So you just fill it as usual and then just add the capful of the oil or the household cleaner. You can also, I've actually run out of the household cleaner a couple times, and I've used the Thieves essential oil. I usually put about 10 drops of Thieves essential oil, and then I just mop as usual. I really like the smell, and it does a really good job cleaning. Okay. Pots and pans, not my favorite thing. I make a soft scrub. I have stainless steel pans that I unfortunately paid a lot of money for, and I hate to see them get all scratched up, though they do. So I make a soft scrub. I was using the Barkeeper's Friend. I think that's what it's called, but it just, I can never find it when I run out, so I have to search around for it. So I decided I would just make some soft scrub and use it on my pans. And that is in a mason jar. I just take a cup of baking soda and add 6 or 7 capfuls of the Young Living's household cleaner and 7 to 8 drops of lemon essential oil, and then I mix it, and it makes a nice paste for cleaning your pots and pans. They actually sparkle when you're done, which is pretty amazing considering they get a lot of use. To combat the grit and the grime that you get on some of your pans, well, I get it on ours because Stuart likes to fry just about everything. I use 1 capful of Young Living household cleaner in a sink full of hot water. And then I add a couple drops of a lemon essential oil, which does a really good job. I'm a big fan of lemon oil. And spots and stain removers for clothing. I don't know about you, but I hate it when I get a spot on something, and then it's never where you can hide it under a sweater or anything. It's always right there on the front of the shirt. So yeah. So I made a stain stick. They're like the ones that you buy that are very expensive. I don't know what they call them, but I use a 1 ounce roller bottle, and I combine it with a 1/2 ounce of Young Living, the Thieves household cleaner, with a 1/2 ounce of the dish soap, and you shake it and you just put it on the spot. It's not like I've always just washed it afterwards. Because it's not like the ones where it's actually, the bleach is actually bleaching it out as you wear the clothes. I don't know. I wonder, I'm going to try to see if it works instantly like the others. And then there's a laundry stain pre-spot when you have a bigger stain or something that you want to get out. I use 1/3 cup of Young Living dish soap or Castile. You can use Castile. And 1/3 cup of Thieves household cleaner, 5 drops of lemon oil. I tell you, lemon oil is that you want to buy the big bottle. And 1 cup of water in a spray bottle, and I shake it. I spray it on the stain and I let it sit a while, and then I just throw it in the wash as usual. Usually works pretty good on stains. It's very effective. I'm not sure which of those chemicals works. It's magic, but I think the combo of all of them work pretty good. So those are my 3 favorites. Actually, it was 4.
Furniture.
That's good.
Okay.
Everyone wants extra, that's for sure. So if you have furniture that you want to polish, you can take 2 tablespoons of the Thieves dish soap and combine it with a cup of distilled water and a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And you just basically mix the soap with the water first, and then you add the olive oil. And if you have an amber spray bottle, it just is a good way to protect the Thieves product away from the light. Shake it well, spray on your wooden furniture, and then you just wipe it off. Then the toilet bowl cleaner. Well, I started to look at this yesterday to see about what kind of recipe I could offer you. And an awful lot of our recipes tend to have baking soda and Castile soap and vinegar all mixed together. And what I was reading, that there was some issues around that they kind of check each other out. So I decided, rather than offering you that, because I'm not a chemist, I couldn't figure out what was the right thing to offer. I felt more comfortable giving you this recipe for the toilet bowl cleaning. You take a capful of the Thieves household cleaner and you add 2 or 3 cups of distilled water to it. You mix it together in your spray bottle and you just spray the toilet, wait 2 minutes, spray it again, clean it with a brush, flush it. And they say, this according to Young Living anyway, you should repeat that process. So what it does, it allows you to disinfect it at the same time that you're cleaning it. So I thought that recipe was not too difficult. And then I like the Foaming Thieves hand soap. And so at times it can be expensive to keep buying another bottle of that, and you may decide to get a glass bottle because you really don't want to keep your essential oils in a plastic bottle anyway, because it begins to disintegrate. And the Thieves foaming hand soap that they sell at Young Living is really meant to be a disposable unit anyway. But if you do have a Thieves foaming hand soap container, if it's finished, you can take 2 tablespoons of the Thieves dish soap And I know it pictures the household cleaner there, but I meant it's really taking the dish soap to add that. I just wanted you to see the bottle for the Thieves hand soap. And you just add distilled water to the container. And that, you just shake up the combination of the ingredients and you just foam away. It has almost the exact same consistency as what you're getting from Young Living. It's a little different, but not much. Oops. There. So those are the 3 items that I had that I wanted to share with you. And so we wanted to just open it up to questions and let you know that I'm going to be putting together all of that information in a sheet that I'll send to you. So you'll have all the recipes.
Good.
And I think, as I reflected on this, as we prepared for our session with you today, I just came back more and more to, the kinds of products that you can get from Young Living that you can just substitute for what you have in your laundry room or in your kitchen. And there's so many ways that you can use each of those combinations. So they're just a great product line to support yourself. And with Young Living, there are so many so-called hacks, to extend the use of each of these items that we can always help you if you feel like you need to do that. I tend to stay with what they give us and try not to dilute it too much, but lots of people dilute it and get an extended use. Like for the laundry soap, this bottle gives you 64 laundries. So you're not putting a lot into it because it's so concentrated and so effective. Mm-hmm. So any questions or areas of the home that you feel like you would like to ask how you could make that chemical free? As we started with that first slide, dryer sheets can be so terrible because those sheets have so many chemicals in them and they get onto your clothes in the dryer because that's how they make your clothes feel good and soft. It's chemicals that you're feeling, and your skin is your biggest organ, largest organ, I should say. And so your body's just absorbing all those chemicals with dryer sheets. So getting wool dryer balls and using any of your essential oils, because the oils that we've already seen, lemon, eucalyptus, lavender, they're wonderful, but there are more even like grapefruit, orange, rosemary, clove, thyme, pine, right? We all know pine sol from growing up for sure, right? There are just so many oils that you can use on so many of your items that you want to clean for yourself.
So
the other 2 other oils, grapefruit and peppermint that I didn't mention, they also help disinfect and clean.
Yeah.
So what about just cleaning out your washing machine? You know how sometimes you start smelling stuff and doesn't smell so good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wash. Well, I hope so, but so what's
It's usually because of mold and mildew growth in the washing machine because of the moisture and no air air to let it out. So I would use lemon and tea tree in a cup of vinegar and just put it in the rinse cycle and rinse it. Run it on rinse cycle once. That usually helps. And I always leave the door open after the wash so that all the water dries as much as possible.
We do that, but
yeah,
it might be the basement. I don't know.
Well, Nancy, it would also be interesting to try the Thieves laundry soap. Because that itself might just kill the mildew and the mold for you so that there won't be anything collecting. I switched to the Thieves dishwasher soap, in my automatic dishwasher. Yeah. And for the first 2 cycles, I was like, I don't think this is working. But then I kept doing it. And by the 3rd cycle, it was like my dishwasher had finally gotten clean of all the residue from everything else. And then it started to work really well. So I was glad I hung in there with it because I would have just said, oh, that doesn't work. But it really did work once I got the dishwasher clean. So your comment about your, your laundry and the,
Yeah.
the washer is so poignant, I think.
Well, I've tried with the dishwasher, just use as people will tell you online, use vinegar, put a cup of vinegar in there and run it. And I've done that and it hasn't done that much good.
Yeah, vinegar
I
by
haven't had
itself.
anything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
use vinegar with the Thieves dishwasher soap, and the
Okay.
vinegar is instead of the finish or the softener.
Right, that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that works. I just put the vinegar right into that container, and that works lovely on the dishes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do that too.
Well, that would save another thing too,
Yes,
that we
yeah.
buy.
Because you can only imagine what chemicals are in finish and everything else that we're bringing
Well,
into the
yeah,
home.
it's true.
I wonder also about doing a wash, running a wash through with the vinegar base and lemon essential oil through the washing machine. And
Mhm.
like maybe that might refresh it more too.
Okay, to get it going,
Yeah,
I would
like an
think get
empty
kind of like
load.
a pre-wash or something.
Yeah.
And
Right,
get,
like an empty load. Yeah.
yeah. You know, I did that. I read something online, and of course it wasn't with oils or anything or any kind of Thieves product, but it took me all afternoon, hours to do what they said, because you were supposed to run hot water with this in it, and then you rinse it, and then and let it sit for an hour and let it kind of simmer, and then you cleaned it again. It took me half the day to do it. And I was telling my friend, and she said, well, you can just buy something and it'll clean your washer. More chemicals.
Right.
It
more
was just more
chemicals.
chemicals.
Yes.
So what is that going to do? Cover up all the stuff that's in there or what? So I haven't done that since. I'm too lazy now. Brittany could attest to that.
We're retired.
Yeah, we're
All lazy in our own ways.
yeah.
Any other
So-
questions or thoughts?
Do any of those laundry things work on grease? I mean, the biggest problem I have with laundry stains are oil or like butter or
Mm.
somehow wine or anything like that seems to come out, but it's the oil kind of things. Do those stain things work on
Right.
that?
Yes. And so some of them do. Oil, one thing they talk about is how oil attracts oil. And so to use oil on an oil stain actually helps it a lot. And Mom, you had the spot cleaner, which should work on an oil stain.
Yeah.
Similar to like, I don't know if anyone's ever heard this, but using Dawn dish detergent on an oil stain.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that idea where you just pre-treat it and then wash it. And so like what my mom was talking about, you can use certain essential oils that attract to the oil that's in whatever the stain is. But it's really more for oily stains, not necessarily wine stains, because wine is more of an actual, like you're actually dyeing the fabric. And so you would want probably more of a bleach alternative, I would think, for that.
I think so. I think so. I know that I use the laundry pre-soak. I can't remember which one it was, but I use that when I get butter or oil on my clothes, or especially on towels. You know, when you're cleaning up the kitchen, you get oil on the towels because your washcloths. I tend to do a load of laundry and I kind of spray them all down before I put them in the washer because they tend to be really kind of grimy, and I don't think I've ever had any problems with them feeling oily or having oil stains after I've done that.
Mhm.
Now barbecue stuff is much different. but it does work really well. At least I think so.
I think I've tried the Thieves laundry soap and I've tried the dish soap on stains like that, but I think the household cleaner straight on an oil
Yeah.
stain could really works well for me. That household cleaner has so many uses.
Yes.
Yes, it does. I think
And
a
I
lemon
actually-
essential oil too, depending on the color, like depending on what kind of fabric it is, because I don't want to recommend anything that might dye the fabric a different color. And lemon essential oil is a very strong essential oil, and so it might actually dye certain colors. So I wouldn't recommend it on that. But like if you had whites that you maybe wanted to get like oil out of, I would recommend just using straight lemon oil
That makes sense.
too. Yeah, but I would be very careful using it on anything with color though. And I would want to test it first. So I wouldn't recommend it on color.
Great questions. Anything else that comes to mind? If not, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes and talk to you about our next session, because we heard you last time when you said you'd like to do something monthly. So in February, Kanchana has stepped forward to offer an aroma freedom therapy session. And so I'm going to ask Kanchana just to give us a little overview of what will happen and then the oils that you'd like people to bring to the session.
So the way it works is we use as like our brain stores all the memory in the subconscious, because our conscious mind cannot remember all the events that happened to us. So everything is stored in the subconscious. And when we are faced with a similar situation, the trauma or effect that previous experience has had on us, it shows up, and we develop a pattern over time. And we forget why we are behaving in a certain way, but that pattern is already set. It's our brain's way of protecting us. So it protects us by shutting down the real feelings and bringing out a different reaction. So when we use essential oils while working through our goals and whatever we need to resolve, what it does is it goes to that particular part of the brain where and our body where all that memory is stored, and it releases the emotions associated with it. So you will remember the incident, but the emotional reaction you have to it will be completely gone. You won't have the same pain, the same depth of trauma or anxiety involved because of that experience. So that helps us live completely in today, and it releases whatever is holding us back. So it's a really very powerful technique. And we use in the first round we use something called the memory release blend, and it's a combination of frankincense, lavender, and stress away. And for the next round we use inner child. Usually by the time we come to the inner child stage, it's usually something that has happened when you were a child, or even a couple of years ago. But whatever it is, it dissolves it. And the third oil we use is release. As the name says, it releases whatever is remaining. And then the last one is believe. After we resolve all the negative emotions, we use believe oil, which is a beautiful tree oil. It helps us center and anchor in a positive mindset, and we create affirmation and use that oil along with the affirmation. So it anchors deep into us, and it becomes our reality as we repeat those affirmations for the next 3 to 5 days. So that's how it works.
What were the three oils in the middle? It was inner child, release,
and believe.
Believe.
Yeah.
And what would be the substitutes if someone only had their premium starter kit oils?
Oh, we could use lemon, peace and calming, frankincense, and Yeah, stress away. Stress away, frankincense and lavender are already there, but in place of inner child, we could use peace and calming. And for release, we could use lemon. And for believe, we could use any other. We could use peppermint or valor, anything that feels, powerful to you.
So we hope you're going to join us on February 22nd. It'll take a full hour because it's quite an interesting experience, and Kanchana walks us through the whole experience. So if you just have your starter kit with you the morning of the 22nd, you'll be all set, because we'll be able to transition you into the oils that's going to work the best for you. So we hope that that'll be something you're interested in. The other is that the next day on February 23rd on Facebook in the Young at Heart community, which is a group that we're members of, I oversee it for people that are over 50. A doctor from England, her name is Dr. Ali, is going to talk about menopause. Now, not all of us are in menopause or past menopause in this group. So it's up to you if you're interested in that topic, but she's full of energy, and she's just going to talk about menopause in general, with the idea that if we have an interest, we'll pursue trying to look at how to use oils to support women that are in menopause. And if you're not, like Nancy and Beth, I think you're in the group, but if not, I'll check and I'll invite you to join it so that you can be part of that the day after. Plus, we look forward to offering something in March and going forward. Just, do you think we should stay with the ditch and switch? Because we could obviously move now to the body. How would you ditch and switch the chemicals you might be doing to wash your hair,
Well, that
to
would
keep
be
your
good.
skin? So would that
like
interest
it.
you? All right, so maybe March we'll do that and we'll keep on going. So
Sounds
if there's no other questions, I think we can end this session, and just really thank you for being with us and having an interest. And I'll get off the list of all the recipes as soon as I can today.
great.
So thank you very much, and have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
week.
Thank you,
All
everybody.
right.
Yes, thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Nancy, call me.